Have you ever questioned why certain individuals are so unjustly angry with you? Is it possible that their resentment stems from their own shortcomings and fears? People often get angry because you avoided their traps rather than because of what you did to them. This type of energy is a constant for the chosen, those who walk with divine purpose. Their personal conflicts are reflected in the rage they are directing at you. Today we'll examine the reasons behind these people's annoyance and show you how their irritation stems from their own problems rather than yours. In the hopes that you may fall, they lay traps for you. It should be simple, they thought. They believed that you would trip over even the tiniest barrier. They misjudged the strength of the heavenly guardianship that accompanies the selected. These people believed they could control your course, sway your choices, and draw you into their poisonous web. But you were shielded from it all by a far stronger power. You flew over their traps rather than just stepping over them. It's critical to recognize that their rage is misdirected. They're upset because their well-thought-out plans didn't work out, not because you did something wrong. They didn't think you were going to be successful. They were afraid you might break under strain, yet you held firm. The selected ones have the trait of being difficult to shake. They could never comprehend how our faith, our attention, and our connection with divine purpose made us untouchable. It irritates them to watch you get up. Despite the obstacles they put in your path, you manage to keep going. As you continue to rise beyond all of their expectations, their envy only intensifies. They believed they could determine your boundaries, but you demonstrated to them that God, not humans, sets your boundaries. And they're angry because of it. It's because their attempts to undermine you were ineffective, not because you did them any harm. Remember the time they attempted to ensnare you in a dispute at work? They murmured in your ear, thinking you'd swallow the bait, expecting you to become embroiled in gossip and petty plans. They wanted you to become part of their mess, but you saw through it all. You were wise enough to avoid lowering your frequency to appease them. And their rage increased when you maintained your composure and your moral character. They are angry now because you revealed their immaturity, not because you injured them. You demonstrated to them that you can achieve without playing dirty. They can't bear to see that you are successful because you are living in truth and keeping on your divine path. You escaped the trap that they prepared. They believed they could control your story, influence you, and draw you into their drama. However, as a chosen one, you possess a special capacity to glimpse past appearances. Distractions don't have the power to influence you. You show maturity by avoiding their mayhem. You put up a mirror to their own immaturity by leaving. This is the true source of their rage. You expose them by avoiding their trap, not merely by avoiding it altogether. More significantly, you demonstrated to the world that their strategies are immature and their attempts are futile. It wasn't necessary for you to approach them directly, because by being loyal to yourself, you brought attention to their own flaws, which they don't want to acknowledge. They are reminded of their own shortcomings every time you climb above them. They know deep down that a greater force is directing your steps, thus their traps won't work on you. Their dissatisfaction keeps increasing as a result. You are robust, unflappable, and divinely protected. Everything they want to be. Ever notice how the most irate individuals often have no valid cause to be upset with you? In retrospect, you will see that you did nothing to merit their allegations, gossip, or frigid behavior toward you. That's because they are angry with themselves, not with you. Instead of confronting their own faults, they cast their hatred at their own errors, failures, and failings onto you. They portray you as the antagonist in a tale in which they bear the blame for their own suffering. People often search for someone to blame when confronted with their own shortcomings. Being a chosen one makes you a simple target. Why? Because their darkness is shown by your brightness. Your achievement draws attention to all of their shortcomings. They are reminded of the turmoil they have chosen by your tranquility. But they attack you rather than improving themselves. They find it simpler to blame you for their inner anguish than to accept responsibility for their own life. When you left that poisonous relationship, did they say you would never make it? They were certain that without them, you would fall apart. They warned everyone that you couldn't succeed on your own and that you would be lost. But you're doing well now. They're still mired in the resentment they attempted to suffocate you in while you've discovered happiness, prosperity, and serenity. They are now upset because you disproved their claims, not because you've done anything wrong. Envy is the core cause of this kind of rage. They see what they want to be in you, while others continue to stumble about in bewilderment. You are walking in your mission. Your entire presence serves as a reminder of their own shortcomings, which is why they are upset. They believed you were the idiot, but now they have to confront the fact that they underestimated you, which is a difficult thing to accept. People project their problems onto you because they are unable to deal with the reality of who they are. They chose to place the blame on you, rather than putting forth the effort to change and develop. A typical example of projection is this one. It's simpler to blame you than to look in the mirror, even when they are appalled by their own decisions and shortcomings. It's critical to understand that, as a chosen one, their rage is about their own anguish rather than you. Their sorrow was not your fault. All of the things they wish they had are reflected in you. Your prosperity, tranquility, and harmony with divine purpose all serve to emphasize their shortcomings, which is why they are angry. Because of what they aren't, not because of who you are. When a toxic person feels threatened, they show their actual nature, and nothing frightens them more than seeing someone they attempted to control soar above them. Their behavior toward you, particularly when they see that you're not playing their game, demonstrates their immaturity. They have been attempting to incite drama and negativity while you have been growing up and concentrating on your own development and recovery. They go nuts when you don't interact with their immaturity. They try to elicit a response by making passive-aggressive remarks about you. You don't bite when they attempt to get you to get into conflicts. You've outgrown it, and they become more irritated each time you choose for harmony rather than confrontation. The fact that you are no longer on their level is intolerable to them. Maturity is an insult to these individuals. They find it difficult to accept the fact that your progress acts as a reminder of their stagnation. They don't know how to mature, so they lash out. The internal work you promised to has not been completed by them. While they continue to live in a cycle of negativity and immature conduct, you have progressed, and it is this difference that makes them feel inadequate. When they made those smooth remarks to you, they may have thought you would lash out. They intended to lure you into their mayhem and watch you lose your temper. Instead, however, you remained calm. Knowing that you were unaffected by what they said, you maintained your composure, and your reluctance to be rattled was what truly irritated them. Their immaturity is shown by their behavior as much as their words. In an attempt to get you to respond, they fabricate situations that are meant to aggravate you. However, they become even more desperate when you don't give them what they want. Because it affirms their own existence, toxic individuals need you to interact with their negativity. They are unable to cope when you remain above the drama because you deny them that affirmation. Drama is necessary for immature individuals to feel alive. Because it diverts their attention from their own inner turmoil, they thrive on confrontation and hostility. However, you have transcended it as a chosen one. You go because you've come to realize that interacting with their poisonous behavior just makes you feel worse. When you say, "No thank you," to their drama, they get desperate. They have no idea how to deal with someone who won't participate. Their immaturity is most apparent here. While you have changed, others remain trapped in the same negative cycles. Every time you decide to leave their insanity, You show how stuck they really are since you've evolved, changed, and put your attention on becoming better. They despise it because it exposes their immaturity. When you outgrow them, they detest it. Therefore, you aren't the true target of their rage. It has to do with their internal conflict and their failure to overcome their destructive habits. They're upset because they can't get away from the fact that you've turned into a mirror reflecting their immaturity back at them. The problem with toxic individuals is that they like being in charge. They believed they could push you about, bully you, and control you. However, they were unaware of your resistance to influence. Divine purpose is protecting you because you are a chosen one. Despite their best efforts, they are unable to manage you. Their goal was to coerce you into relinquishing your advantages. They believed they could coerce you into following their instructions. However, you remained resilient. They were incensed that you wouldn't allow them to take advantage of you. This kind of person isn't accustomed to being rejected, particularly by someone they didn't think highly of. However, when you refused to back down, they were forced to face the reality that you are not a target for bullying. Making you feel insignificant was always their aim. They wanted you to doubt your value and think you were in need of them. The selected ones, however, are difficult to trick. You are aware of their efforts to dull your brightness, and you don't allow them to be successful. Knowing that your value is not determined by their views, you stood firm in your truth rather than giving in to their pressure. Consider the occasion when a purported friend attempted to coerce you into giving them money in the hopes that you would give in. They gave you the impression that you were selfish for keeping your peace and that you were bad for saying no. However, they made you seem like the bad guy when you resisted giving in to pressure. The fact that you refused to allow them to exploit your generosity was too much for them to bear. They are furious because, while their manipulation techniques may have worked on others in the past, they did not work on you. They are used to influencing people by intimidation, fear, or guilt into getting their way. They experienced another type of power with you. However, a divine strength that is unaffected by their desires. When their strategies don't work, people like this are clueless about what to do. They are used to taking advantage of circumstances, but with you, it's not the same. You refuse to play along with them since you can see through their shenanigans. That's what enrages them the most. Saying no isn't enough. You also demonstrated that they couldn't control you. The goal of toxic individuals is to take away your blessings, prosperity, and tranquility. However, you are aware that your blessings are safeguarded because you are a chosen one. They cannot take away what God has already given you, and their ugly behavior will not succeed no matter how hard they try. They were being nasty because ugliness is not blessed by God. They attempted to intimidate you into submitting, but they were forced to face their own shortcomings instead. You demonstrated to them that you are more powerful than their deceptive methods by rising above their control rather than just resisting it. They can never take away the spiritual strength that is within you, which is shown by your unwillingness to be intimidated. One basic reality is at the heart of all this rage. People are dissatisfied with their own lives. They are unhappy and find it infuriating that someone else is prospering while they are trapped. They're upset that you didn't share their misery since they like companionship. They desired that you remain on their level, wallowing in the same negativity and poor choices. However, you took a different route. They made poor decisions, surrounded themselves with the wrong people, and are now paying the price. And they blame their own suffering on you rather than owning up to it. You are the embodiment of everything they might have been, but choose not to be, which is why they hate you. It's critical to realize that their suffering is not new. Rather, it has been accumulating for years due to a string of bad choices and toxic relationships. They're caught in a vicious cycle of anger and animosity because they've been pursuing things that don't satisfy them. They are also forced to face the truth of their own circumstances when they see you succeeding. You were concentrating on advancing your career, while others were out having fun and squandering time. Years later, you're enjoying the benefits of your labor and sacrifices. In the meanwhile, they have nothing to show for their decisions and are still trapped in the same spot. They hate you for it, rather than being pleased for you. Their personal discontent with life is reflected in their wrath. They are enraged because they see in you everything they wish they had, including the pleasure, the tranquility, and the success. However, their ire isn't directed at you. Rather, it's directed at their own unmet expectations and the decisions that brought them to this point. In actuality, the only individuals who are upset about someone else's success are those who are shattered and sad. They would rather destroy you than face their own shortcomings. However, you refuse to allow their suffering bring you down. What truly irritates them is your decision to keep going. You stand out because you refuse to join them, even though misery enjoys company. You were aware of the route they were taking, but you decided not to pursue it. You're doing well now because you choose to ignore the negative and concentrate on your own development. Their rage is only a sign of their own unresolved issues. There were other options available to them. They had the option to recover, develop, and change. However, they chose to remain in the same destructive patterns. And now, they are upset with you for abandoning them. But you don't have to bear that load. You are not to blame for their suffering. They are the ones who brought it about. Because you remained loyal to yourself, you're succeeding. You were focused on your own journey, while others were busy attempting to ruin your achievement. You're succeeding because you didn't let their criticism divert you. Your heart is visible to God. He keeps blessing you because He sees your intentions. Why you're glowing so brilliantly is beyond their comprehension. They fail to see that your rewards stem from your connection with divine purpose because they are too preoccupied with their own negativity. Now that they see the reality, they no longer believe they are superior to you. Your inner divine light is reflected in your achievement, radiance, and tranquility. You didn't become successful overnight. It was the outcome of years of perseverance, faith, and hard work. You were building while they were busy attempting to destroy you. You are currently enjoying the fruits of your labor. They see your accomplishments, but they are blind to the sacrifices you made, the obstacles you surmounted, or the perseverance that kept you going. And they are perplexed by it. You were quietly developing a company while they were busy attempting to destroy your reputation. They've tried to pull you down, but now they can't understand how you're so successful. The answer is straightforward. While others were sidetracked by drama, you remained committed to your mission. They don't realize that your alignment with divine purpose is what brings you benefits. For them, success is something that can be taken or exploited. The selected ones, however, are wiser, staying loyal to who you are and walking the road that God has outlined for you are the keys to success. They believed they could make you cease shining, but they were unaware that your inner light is what gives you your sparkle. What truly irritates them is that you did more than simply survive. You flourished. Your accomplishments serve as a constant reminder that you have outgrown them and overcome the obstacles they attempted to put in your path. They are reminded of their own failure each time they see your victory. They believed they could destroy you, but you've succeeded instead, and they can't accept that. The truth is that your success stems from your hard effort, trust, and harmony with divine purpose, and they will never be able to take it away. Because they don't understand why you keep winning, they're upset. They are blind to the divine favor that directs your every move and the spiritual shield that envelops you. You will continue to prosper despite whatever challenges they attempt to lay in your path because you understand that your success is about achieving the goal that God has for your life, not simply about you. Continue to pursue your goals. Continue to shine. Don't spend your efforts on those who attempted to undermine you. They're upset that they were unable to keep you under control or in their pessimism. Their suffering is not your fault. Allow them to be angry. You'll continue to prosper and advance while they're busy being resentful.